Good morning, guys. So I am starting to get into the flow. Video ideas are starting to come to me a little bit easier. Creating content that is purposeful and has meaning behind it is getting a little bit easier. And today, what I'd love to talk about is digestion that goes beyond the physical body. So how well we digest our food deeply impacts our energy levels, our metabolism, our nutrient absorption, how much nutrients we're actually getting out of our food, how much of that is being put to use. Same deal with experiences. So you can digest an experience poorly and not get much out of it, or it can do a lot of damage, like cause a lot of trauma in yourself and in your life. And something important to realize is that everyone is going to have different methods of coping with experiences, with digesting experiences, whether they be negative or positive or somewhere in the middle. And there is no one way to properly digest a certain type of experience versus another. This is just my experience with experiences, and kind of narrowing it down to how specifically it has interacted with my senses, and ways that you can start to work with those senses to heal them and free them of anything that you don't want them to be holding on to. So thinking of it as almost like a cleanse, how to cleanse your senses to improve your experience digestion overall. So yeah, now that I'm saying this all out loud, I'm not sure if it's going to make sense, but I'll see what happens. Let's talk about the power of touch. So I'm sure you guys have all experienced both sides of the spectrum here, where there's touch that feels good and then there's touch that's maybe not welcome. The best way to cleanse your body is to give yourself time to nourish yourself in many ways. So exercise, diet, socially, and loving yourself. So practicing cleansing practices that are oriented towards loving yourself. So yoga, journaling, taking a hot bath, using mantras to kind of, reinstall that belief that you are safe, that you are whole, you are protected, you are free of anything that is not serving you. One of my favorite things to do as a cleansing ritual to cleanse my body of touches, both good and bad, that have happened throughout the day, throughout the week, just over time, is to either take a hot shower or a bath and just take a moment and just close my eyes, center myself, find some quiet, and then just head to toe slowly start to massage myself, working on my scalp, working on my cheeks, working on my jaws, coming down, doing my neck, working on my ears, just massaging your entire being. And maybe as you do this, repeating a mantra like, I love you, I love you, I love you, or you are healing, you are healing, you are healing, or let go, let go, let go. You can Google search mantras or come up with your own, but just something that's going to allow you to release anything that you might have picked up throughout the day. And I think that's a really beautiful way to just kind of, on a daily basis, or however frequently you shower, just cleanse yourself. Let go of things that you need to let go of, and allow the water to just wash it away. So sight and sound kind of go hand in hand with touch, but I left them to talk about separately, specifically so we can start to get into social media and media. So conscious consumption, a way of describing what we choose and how we choose to consume media. So just to bring up a few good different things on the spectrum. So choosing to go and watch a horror film, your nervous system may not make the greatest disconnect between reality and fantasy, especially if you're there experiencing it, and if you're a very empathetic person, it being maybe even more of an intense experience for you. All that causes stress within your nervous system, which is something to take into consideration if you're trying to heal your experiences in life, or if you've maybe been through traumatic experiences that you're trying to heal from. Exposure to things of that nature that aren't necessarily raising your vibrations per se isn't going to be doing you much good. So another thing to talk about that's kind of similar in the idea that it might not be as beneficial for you is social media, what we consume online. So a few things off the top of my head that I automatically think of as a red flag if someone's telling me that this is what they consume online would be lots of news, like over too much political news, and not so much just to inform yourself about what's going on within the world and different cultures, but becoming heavily saturated with political talk and news talk is a very stressful thing. Following really famous celebrities and what they do in their life and how they live their life and what they're wearing and what diet they're eating, I think that's a really unhealthy behavior, and I don't think it helps raise people's vibrations. For some, maybe it does, but I'll leave that to your discretion. And then things like pornography and violence and, things that occur within our lives but aren't necessarily meant to be shared as content in media and consumed as though they are healthy for us. So being conscious of your consumption, because what you see and what you hear is going to have just as much of a profound effect on your body and on your mind as what touches you and what you touch. So to kind of wrap all of this up, digestion within the body, within the gut and the stomach, is one form of digestion. Digestion within the mind, so just what you experience from a day-to-day basis, how you're digesting it, what kind of time you give yourself to digest it before reacting. All of this digestion comes into play and affects how you make decisions in your life, affects how much energy in general you have in your life. So if you're healing your gut digestion for reasons of like lack of energy, mood disorders, sleep disorders, and even if it's just like improper digestion, your mood and your state of mind has a lot to do with that. The brain and the stomach are like one. So digestion is a huge part of life. Digesting food is a fifth of the picture. But really it's what you're consuming in the environment. So what are you buying? What are you surrounding yourself with? What are you doing with your time? And how is that affecting you? Like I said, experiences are like food for the mind and the soul. And if you're not digesting them well, or if it's not the right food for you, if it's not the right experiences for you, it can do a lot of damage. So I don't think I have too much more to say on that topic. I think I want to leave it a little bit more open-ended. I just think that it's really important that in the month of June, when I'm talking about digestion, that we mention the kind that goes beyond the body. We mention how life can affect us, and that it's important to have cleansing rituals to let go of things that aren't serving you, and that you can break it down to the different senses if it helps you find ways to more directly release anything that isn't serving you or raising your vibrations or making you happier, however you want to say it. So yeah, guys, I think that's it for today. Check out the blog post that I wrote about this specific video. It definitely goes more in depth and has a little bit more clarity to it. I like keeping my videos very natural, so if it doesn't always come out perfect, I'm okay with that. I think it's going to get better over time. Thanks guys, have a great rest of your week. Happy Thursday, and if you have any questions or thoughts to share, comment down below. Be sure to subscribe and click that little bell right beside the sub. Actually, I think it's gonna be over here. Click that little bell wherever it's at. So you get notifications every time I post a video, that you guys do know it's gonna be every Thursday. So, yep guys, thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.